Greetings. This is Rob McCray, and I just wanted to take a few minutes to talk to you about some things that are going on here in the United States in regards to the deportation of undocumented immigrants. I'm quite sure you are aware of, President Donald Trump was inaugurated into office yesterday, Monday, January the 20th of the year 2025, and it will be his second term in office. And he has made quite a few claims as to what he's going to invoke in his second term here as President of the United States. And one of those promises in which he has stated that he will start to implement the deportation of undocumented immigrants. So I want to speak upon that and just share some information with you to help you get a better understanding of what's the real reason and why they are looking to deport these undocumented immigrants and what is their real agenda behind this. So I'm going to be showing you a couple of slides that's going to paint a broader picture for you and hopefully give you a better understanding of what's really going on and why these measures have been put into place. And hopefully it will bring forth clarity and give you a better understanding of what's really going on and the agenda that has been set forth, and not so much to believe in the rhetoric that has been spread to really make people feel that what they're doing is something that's going to be of benefit to them. So let me bring up my slides and we shall start our discussion. All right, so this first slide here is just a basic documentation from the Census Bureau. And for all of the information that I'm going to be sharing with you, I encourage you to do your own research, go back and confirm the information and data that I am sharing with you to ensure that it is truthful. All of this stuff is documented. So, but yes, I want to encourage you to do your own homework and just don't take other people's word for granted, because that is one of the biggest problems in which we are facing now. People are not getting the right information. They're just going by hearsay. And a lot of the information in which they are receiving is not the truth. And they are being misrepresented in what they're being told. All right. So, what is the real reason why immigrants are being deported? So, let's take a deeper look into what is the underlying issue and what and why this is really being done. So, as you can see here on the slide, according to the Census Bureau, in 2023, 58% of the US population identified as non Hispanic white Americans. So 20% identified as Hispanic, 13% identified as Black, 6% identified as Asian or Pacific Islander, and 3% identified as other. So in the year of 2030, this will mark a demographic turning point for the United States. And in the year of 2030, all baby boomers will become older and they will reach the age of at least 65 years of age. As the baby boomers were born during the years of 1946 to 1964. And this is going to increase the size of the older population so that one in every five Americans is projected to be of retirement age. And later on in the decade of 2034, it is projected that older adults will outnumber children for the first time in U.S. history. So, why are the baby boomers so significant in America? So, the baby boomers, they made a great contribution to the growth of the population, and this caused a huge change in society after World War II. As the 60s was defined as the era of social change, and the baby boomers led the charge through activism, social change, and freedom marches. Baby boomers opened our eyes to social change with a decade of riots, boycotts, anti war demonstrations, and protests for civil rights. And as you can see here on the slide, one of the great civil rights leaders, and we just celebrated his birthday yesterday, was the late great Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And baby boomers are significant because they represent a large generation born after World War II, making them a major force in shaping societal trends, politics, and the economy due to their sheer numbers. And their experience during pivotal events like the Civil Rights Movement and the Vietnam War. And this led to significant cultural shifts, specifically in the areas of music, fashion, and social attitudes. And as they age, their needs for healthcare and retirement planning has impacted our society today, which has given us the many rights and freedoms that we have grown accustomed to, but we may be on the verge of being stripped away from. So, what does this have to do with the deportation of undocumented immigrants? Well, I'm glad you asked. So, now that we have a little historical background of the things that used to be, it should be a little bit more easier for you to understand how these things are trending and why some Americans are reluctant to let things keep moving in the same forecasted direction. So, as mentioned, the year 2030 marks a demographic first for the United States. So, in that year, because of population aging, immigration is projected to overtake natural birth increase as the primary driver of population growth for this country. And all of these numbers and statistics in which I'm giving you can be confirmed by visiting the Census Bureau. So let's look at the average size of different families. Okay. The average size of a white family in the US has steadily declined from 1960 to 1920, with a noticeable decrease in the number of children per family, with the average white family in 1960 being significantly larger than in 2020. In 1960, a white family on average had around 3.7 people in the family. But in 2020, that number will be closer to 2.9 people in the family. So that's almost one less person in the family over those 60 years. So keep those numbers in mind. We're going to go back to it. So when we look at the black family on the average has drastically decreased from the years of 1960 to 2020, with the average black family in the year of 1960, hear this, being around 6.5 members per family. But now, in contrast, when we look at the numbers of the family structure today or in 2020, that same black family has around 3.18 members in the family. So it has decreased by more than half. So that is the black family. So now let's look at the Latino family. The average Latino family size in the US has historically been slightly larger than the national average, with the most recent figures showing a Latino family size around 3.8 persons per family. So, as you can see, the Latino population is growing faster than any other ethnicity in America. And for some people in America, this poses a great threat. And as you will see on the slide, the average Latino family produces almost one more family member than the average white family. And as time moves on, the minorities will soon become the majority. And that is the greatest fear. The Census Bureau also projects that the Latino population will grow from 19% to 26% of the US population by 2060, while non Hispanic white Americans under 18 in the US are already a minority as of 2020. Let me repeat that. Non Hispanic white Americans under the age of 18 are already a minority in the year of 2020. And it is projected that non Hispanic whites overall will become a minority in the United States by the year of 2045. And as we talked about earlier, with the baby boomers and the growth in the population during that time, it forced many societal changes. But understand that white families were a part of that baby boom. But now the numbers are going in the opposite direction for white American families. But Latinos are now growing in numbers through childbirth and also through migration. Immigrants and their US born descendants are expected to provide most of the US population gains in the decades ahead, as Latinos accounted for 51.1% of the country's total population growth between 2010 and 2020. That's more than half of the growth from Latinos. And the US population has grown by about 2.3 million people per year since 2010. And the growth rate is expected to fall to 1.8 million per year between 2030 and 2040, and is projected to continue to fall to 1.5 million per year between 2040 and 2060, as the baby boomers will die off and the average family size continues to decrease. And these stats and projections have some white Americans very fearful that they will lose their majority rule and lose their grip on power and authority over this nation and the people within it. And this is why there is such an emphasis on deporting immigrants out of America. It has nothing to do with the rhetoric being spoken about taking away American jobs or removing criminals from amongst us. Because if they are undocumented, how can they possibly get these most sought after American jobs? And if they are responsible for committing any crimes, then yes, yes, absolutely yes, they should and will be deported, no questions asked. But that is not the case for most immigrants coming over. They're looking to escape that life in which they were having from their previous country, and they look to bring forth and have a better life here for themselves here in America. So let me just share this stat with you here. So the incarceration rate for foreign-born adults is 297 persons for every 100,000 people, compared to US born adults, which is 813 for every 100,000 persons. So it's almost triple the amount of US born citizens that commit crimes compared to the immigrants that are coming into this country. So it is not because of um, criminals coming into the country that they're trying to deport them. It's because of their fear of losing their power and their majority rule within this country. So don't buy into those fear tactics which are being spread, because they are the furthest from the truth. So let's talk about how this will negatively impact your life and everyone around you. So there is an estimated 11.7 million undocumented immigrants in the US, which equates to 3.5% of the overall population. Illegal immigrants has led to a growth in gross domestic production, which is the GDP, which measures the value added or created through the production of goods. The GDP also measures the income earned from that production. Undocumented immigrants are more likely to work in these less desirable and underpaying jobs than any other American born citizens. And that's a complete fact. So when these immigrants are removed from their jobs and deported from this country, who's going to fill those positions? It's not going to happen. And when they do find someone to work in these positions, they're going to have to pay them twice as much as they were paying these undocumented immigrants. So when they have to increase the pay to bring these people on to fill these voids in the workspace, who do you think is going to have to end up paying that cost? It's going to be us, the consumer base. Those expenses are going to be passed on to us. So if you think the grocery prices are high now, just wait, because we haven't seen anything yet. The labor force is projecting that 44,000 US born workers could lose their jobs for every 500,000 immigrants removed from the workforce. Why? Because if you don't have workers in place to do that manual labor and those unwanted tasks, then there will be a less of a demand for the managers and supervisors and the higher ups to manage those workers, because the workers are no longer there. And this is going to lead to a lot of companies downsizing and cutting down on their overhead expenses. So let's look at your agriculture, your fruits and your vegetables, your produce coming in. That's going to become more expensive. The cost of housing construction will also increase, with even more manual laborers be taken out of the workforce. Some immigrants also pay into government taxes, which accounted for $96.7 billion in 2022. And if this money is taken away due to deportation, many programs such as our Medicare and Social Security will be greatly impacted, as we are already hearing rumblings of Medicare and Social Security being taken away. So, this plan for deportation is a disaster waiting to happen. And all of America will pay the cost because the powers that be are afraid of losing their majority control of this country and will cut off their nose to spite their face. The economists, they already know how much of a disaster this will be to America. But those with their own agenda to stay in a position of power will do anything to maintain that position and let the masses suffer who put them in power. So buckle up and prepare yourself for what is to come. Keep your eyes and ears open and don't be fooled by the window dressing that has been placed on a condemned house. Let us all keep one another in prayer and do right by our fellow brothers and sisters. We have been through much adversity in our lives and through the generations before us. And just as God has done it before, I'm quite sure that He will do it again. We must continue to stand strong, stand united, and never succumb to the forces of darkness and the forces of the enemy. For we know that everyone has their own agenda, but you must abide by those rules and guidelines in which have been set forth over your life. We must continue to live our lives in a manner that is pleasing unto the Lord and never going astray, never fall into the plots and plans of the enemy. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart and lean not unto your own understanding. In all thine ways acknowledge him, and he shall show you the way. So, brothers and sisters, you know, stay of the faith, stay of good morals and good values, stand on your principles and your laurels, respect and do unto others as you want done unto you. Look out for one another, and we shall get through this as we have before. So, just wanted to share that with you. I thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to subscribe to the channel if you have not already done so, and share it out. I'm sure that this will be a message that some people need to hear. Hopefully, it will bring forth more clarity and understanding as to why some of these initiatives have been put into place. Um, so yeah, we just have to look out for one another and do everything that we can to help our fellow brothers and sisters and keep one another uplifted in prayer. And we shall get through this like everything else. So yes, just want to thank you for watching. So once again, my name is Rob McCray. I thank you for watching, and I look forward to speaking with you real soon. God bless.